So I wanted to show you guys how to create a levitating shot. I shot this in studio with artificial lighting, and I've imported the image into Photoshop, and I've used the quick select tool on the right hand toolbar to just go around the subject and copy what I want copied. What I'm going to do now is create a new canvas. I like to keep my canvases pretty big, and I figure 10,000 pixels is a lot more room for me to play with when it comes to cropping and things like that. So now I'm going to paste the subject onto the canvas. Using the quick select tool is a lot quicker, as the name suggests, but Photoshop, especially the older versions, aren't really very good at pixel reading, so you'll find that there are a lot of areas like around the fingers and the hair and things like that where the background pixels have sort of come through. So now what I'm going to do is just grab the eraser tool and just play around with the size of the brush, the hardness, and just go around the image, changing it constantly depending on what I see. You know, if the pixels are pretty sharp, we'll have a pretty hard eraser. If it's soft, again, we'll change it as we go. So I'll just go around the subject, quickly getting rid of anything that I don't want included in the final image. Now I'm going to grab another image which will serve as the background to this. It'll set the scene, if you will. So I'll drag that and drop that onto the canvas as well. Stretching it out, I'll keep the aspect ratio the same, using the two little links when you've got the transform button selected. What I'm going to do now is create a new layer by duplicating it. It's always cool to duplicate the layer that you're working on, just in case you make a mistake or don't do something or want to do something differently. At least then any original work that you've done won't affect the layer itself. You'll still have that original layer to work on. Now at this point I've noticed that the yellow light, there's a lot of yellow light on her arm, so I've duplicated the layer, played with the adjustment, the color adjustment, and just brought that down on the duplicated layer. So now her arm, the color in her arm sort of matches the rest of her, and I'm going to use the eraser and just erase part of that new layer so that the old layer and the new layer sort of match, so that the arm now is looking perfect. Awesome, the colors match. I'm really happy with that. Awesome. Now I'm just going to merge those layers and then duplicate it again. Now I'm going to create shadows, because obviously the light coming in from the top of her would be a lot lighter, towards the bottom of the dress would be a lot darker. I'm going to play around with loads of different layers, just using multiply and screen, just those two blending modes, and then using the eraser to erase anything where I see that light wouldn't usually be, given the situation. Perfect, that looks pretty good. So I'll just select these layers and then merge them into one. I'll transform it. That's the button that I was talking about earlier, those two little chains. That keeps the whole aspect ratio of the image that you're transforming. So you can scale it, you can warp it, and it'll keep that same aspect ratio. That looks pretty good. I like the V pattern that the dress, as the dress is falling, sort of forms a V falling down. I like that. Awesome. Now you just say yes to that. That allows you to edit the image with the eraser. Now what I'm going to do now is create a shadow underneath it. This is what's fun about playing with Photoshop, is that I've learned a lot when it comes to angle perspective, and what gives away a really photoshopped image definitely for me is like shadows and lighting. That's got to make sense to make an image relatively believable, even if it is quite dreamlike. So what I'm going to do is copy that and then change it to multiply, Again, I'll duplicate that layer a couple of times, so if I make a mistake, at least I'll have the original left to play with. And now I'm just going to use the eraser, trusty eraser tool, to go around and create the shadow. Perfect. That looks pretty good. Now this is the fun part, when I can just play around with colors and textures, and this is like putting the cherry on top. So yeah, if you've got any questions or anything like that, leave them in the comments.